So I'm working on adding this EVO ONE and the remote start and the alarm system, putting it all together, getting it ready so I can go in the back, start prepping it all up with wiring and everything like that. But before I do that, I wanted to validate some questions I had about using the remote kit, the RF kit for the extended two-way range. I wanted to add an LED remote control as well as use the CompuStar drone system. So I'm sitting there, I'm looking at my manual for my EVO, okay, and I'm going through it and I'm saying, there's not enough plugs for what I want to do. So I says, let me pick up the phone and call Fortin. Maybe they can validate my query. I'm not sure. So sure enough, I say, hey, go onto the website, take a look at what I'm looking at. It says here, for my vehicle, I can use the EVO, the T-harness for the ignition harness, RF kit, telematics kit, which is the drone, and the sensor module. So I says, you know, I had a question about the sensor module. That's another story. That didn't work out, so that'll be another time. But as far as the RF kit and the telematics, I wanted to use a standard RF2 or an FTX two-way LED remote kit because it's nice and small. I don't like using the factory keys with the buttons because it's big and it's ugly. And I don't always necessarily want to use the phone because I don't always have to swipe and put in my password. It'd be nice to just have both, right? So I says, can you just tell me, can I use this and this at the same time? If so, how? He says, well, let me find out and I'll call you back. So we get up the phone. 5 minutes later, he calls me back. He says, yes and no. He says, it's coming, but it's not ready yet. He says, if you want to use one or the other, you can use your factory remote and do your locks that way and do the 3-pole start to activate the remote start and use your drone, but you can't have it all together with an external RF remote kit, the drone, and all three working simultaneously. He says, also, if you want to do the drone, which I'm going to be using, it has a 4-pin plug which plugs into it. And you're going to have to also do a couple other things here to make it work out. First off, you have to follow the schematic, which is on Fortin's website. You can go to compatible RF kits from their homepage, and it tells you all this information I'm showing you right now. You have to take the plug from it. Black and red are your power and ground, and these here are your RX and TX wires. You have to reverse them, okay? You can either take a small tool and pin and push them in and out and pop them back in there, or you could just slice, you know, over there, cut it, and hardwire it. Just make sure that they're flipped backwards. That has to be done, as well as you have to reflash it to this firmware. How do you do that? I'll show you. I have my FlashLink software up. My unit is plugged in over there. So when you go in there, this is the home screen you're going to see. If you go over here to EVO ONE updates, it's going to give you the latest firmware versions. You have to go down here to 0.50, hit select, flash that update, and that's going to allow your EVO ONE to communicate with the drone two-way. This is how that works. And hopefully, in the future, they'll come up with a T-harness so that way you can tie the RF kit in with the drone and expand on it in a whole new way. Who knows? This year, I know that they got a lot of new stuff coming out. Omega is getting on board with Fortin, so they're having their own products free labeled with them. So you're not just stuck with that ladder link with Omega, and you have Fortin with the Access stuff, which I sell. So there's a lot of stuff coming out all the time. But for the time being, if you're questioning how does this work, or if you can't get your drone to work, or if you're like me and you want to have everything work at the same time, apparently that's not the case. But for now, I'll be happy with the drone and my EVO. So stay tuned. There'll be more to come, I'm sure.